It's pretty funny, guys. I feel like I went from having one clap car with the Supra to now two with the G80 M3. And if you guys are wondering why I'm calling this car clap, well, it's not actually clap. It's really just the wrap that makes the car look really bad. If you guys saw my last video, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you didn't, long story short, I tried to work with a wrap company, and unfortunately, the guy just did not do a good job. There's one example. There's a whole bunch throughout the car, like these door handles, which are, yeah, that's pretty bad. This right over here is pretty bad. Over here is pretty bad. We have some wrinkles in the wrap. And then the worst spot is definitely the front bumper. I mean, I can go all day with this area. Just look at this one. This is one of the worst. There's still a lot more besides this, but we're not gonna go through everything because I tried to go through a good amount in the last video, so I'm not gonna repeat myself. But you know, I know that last video, guys, was probably a little controversial. Some people weren't happy with it and the way I went about it and all that. I tried my best to be as nice as possible in the video and to the guy himself. In fact, I debated taking screenshots of our text message conversations because that way there would be no disputing how I was with him, and that way you guys can see the exact timeline. Because for example, at some point he told me the car would be done on Wednesday. Someone said I put too much pressure on the guy, which is absolutely not true because I didn't hear back from him on Wednesday. I waited until Saturday to be like, hey, what's the update? But anyways, I'm not gonna explain this any further. It is what it is, guys. At this point, I'm not gonna drag it. What happened, happened. At this point, we're gonna focus on going forward. And going forward, what I'm gonna try to do with this M3 is try to salvage as much as I possibly can. A lot of you guys said just to take the wrap off because you guys are worried about blade marks and stuff like that. I mean, the part that I'm worried about the most is definitely the front bumper. But what I did, guys, is some of these areas that are already peeling up, I actually peeled it up a little more just to see if there's any blade marks, and I don't see anything. I looked at that area right over here, some of the areas that you would imagine he would kind of cut with his blade. Otherwise, everything else, he really shouldn't have been cutting too much, or at least you'd hope not. Like areas like this, like if anything, he's cutting in between the panels. That would have been the only reason why I'd peel off the wrap, because honestly, I paid a lot of money for it at the end of the day, and I want to kind of rock it out for as long as possible. Also, there's currently some parts missing on the car. If you guys know this car well, you'll know we're missing the canards right over here. We're also missing the badges back here in the rear. So I want to put all that stuff back on and try to make this car look as best I can considering the circumstance. But anyways, with that said, let's try to get the Supra out of here, which by the way, I have some big and exciting news for. So if you guys like the Supra content, stay tuned because it's about to get a lot better very, very soon.
Yeah, legend status, asked about the name. I've been putting in work, collecting the fame. Up in the stat while they watching the 10 in the game. Either you in it or just a critic, man, we ain't the same. I'm focused on making this history into my top 5. List is listing me. I never got an L on pass, this ain't no breeze. I had to make the work out last. The bill of steam is different degrees, and no, I do this here with the ease and never been.
So we got the Supra and the X5 on the street, and of course we have the M3 more so in the middle of the driveway. That way we can reach it with my heat gun. So like I said, guys, I'm gonna try to salvage this wrap as much as I can. Now, obviously, I'm not gonna be redoing any panels. I do have some scrap wrap. I was hoping that some of these can at least help me redo the fender, because that's one panel I think I can personally redo, but unfortunately, this just is not gonna fit. Like, it is just not big enough. What I want to focus on is things like this, getting these like wrinkles out, tucking in some of this stuff a little better, maybe just like heating it up and tucking it in. Even things like this. Now, I know this stuff is gonna start to peel up regardless, but I'm just gonna do my best. Even like this, right over here, like if we can tuck some of this stuff in a little better, I feel like it's just gonna look a little, look, even just that helps. So if this isn't obvious already, guys, I've never wrapped a car before. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm gonna figure it out because this is my baby and I don't want it to look this bad. Also, I know technically you're not supposed to use a heat gun while the wrap is on the car, but we're gonna break the rule a little bit. So let me get you guys a closer look here. Let's see if we can just get this to tuck in a bit here. Yeah, all this is just getting worse. As I'm literally trying to fix the rest of it, these other areas keep on peeling back up, and they're gonna keep on peeling back up, guys. I know it. I know. You don't have to tell me, don't worry. All right, so far, guys, we absolutely failed. None of that was fixable. Just kept on peeling back up. So I don't have much hope for the rest of this, but we're gonna try it regardless. What I'm hoping for is, if you guys can see, these areas right over here are bubbling up. If I hit that with heat, maybe we can lay it down. That's probably not gonna work either. Yeah, this kind of sucks. All right, let's heat this up and see if we can repair anything. Again, guys, I'm trying not to hit it with too much heat because the wrap is on the car, so obviously I don't want to damage the paint or anything. But we do need to loosen up the wrap at least a little bit. It does go down, but it's just not gonna stay. It's gonna keep on coming back up. I already know. But at least looks better for now. All right, guys, I think I'm just gonna stop while I'm ahead. Clearly, nothing is working. Nothing is capable of being saved. I'm sure the guy tried himself to save some of this stuff, but it is what it is. We're just gonna move on. Let's just try to maybe reinstall some of the stuff, like the badges and the canards. So we should have the canards somewhere in the car. I just don't remember where. Oh, there they are. So, come on, come off. There they are. All right. So we're gonna have to take off this 3M tape because I don't think this 3M tape is gonna be strong enough to hold this on again. We're gonna try to stick these back on. So look how much better it looks with the canard versus without. It's just a little subtle detail that honestly a lot of people probably won't even notice, but it makes a huge difference on the car. By the way, when I was putting this thing on, because it's not actually on, it still has the old adhesive on it, so it's not really stuck on. I noticed the guy never actually cleaned off the original adhesive and just literally wrapped right over it. Like, come on, man. The only good thing is now I remember where the canard's supposed to go, so that's looking on the bright side, right? This is so sad. Anyways, to make sure this thing doesn't fall off the highway, I actually removed all the original adhesive. I cleaned it well, and then I put on some new adhesive. I know this is only gonna be temporary, guys, but I don't wanna lose this on the highway. That'd be really bad. These aren't that expensive, but I just really like them. If you're wondering how to do that, basically you wanna take your old, whatever it is, even if it's not a canard, like a spoiler or something, grab a drill and one of these erasers, and then just hit it with the drill. So after literally just no more than like 2 minutes, you guys can see I got those big chunks of adhesive off. There's no damage to the part. It's obviously really dirty, but you know, that's fine. We're gonna hit it with some rubbing alcohol and a microfiber cloth. That way we can clean off any of this sawdust, if you wanna call it that, and any remaining adhesive, which you guys can see there's still a tad bit left. All right, guys, I got both canards on. I actually had to turn the car on and move it a little that way because my heat gun wasn't reaching. I heated up the adhesive just so it can stick on a little better, but yeah, that should be solid. That should not be coming off on the highway. By the way, I don't think you guys saw the car with the yellow DRLs on yet. Like, check out this view. That looks sick. The green wrap with the yellow DRLs and the gold wheels, man, it looks so good. Anyways, we're gonna keep on going. So the next thing we have to do is stick on the badges. Again, same thing. You guys can see he didn't even clean off the old adhesive. He just wrapped right over it, which is really funny to me. But hey, it'll at least help me see like where the badges are supposed to go. All right, badges are on. Placement is but that's all right. Like I said, guys, this is only temporary. I mean, obviously we're gonna be taking this wrap off, so we're gonna have to take the badges off again. So I just put them on. You know, they're generally where they're supposed to go. They're not perfect, but it is what it is. Like I keep on saying, guys, we're gonna try to rock out this wrap for as long as we can, make some content with it, and then we'll peel it off and we'll do it again properly, and we'll make sure that everything is like absolutely perfect. But until then, this will be good enough. All right, so the next thing we have to do is try to clean up these seats because again, guys, they look absolutely disgusting. Here's a quick look at the before. We're gonna try to scrub them down a little bit and potentially condition them because that way we'll prevent any, you know, future tears or anything. But yeah, this bolster rod over here is definitely the worst. So we're gonna hit this spot first just because I feel like it's definitely the worst. And even from a light scrub, guys, I can see it's already looking much better. Oh, that looks so much better already. All right, and a few moments later, the seats are nice and clean. You guys can see just how much better that looks. Now, it's not like brand spanking new looking, but it looks a million times better. So I did there, I did everywhere on the seat. I also did the passenger seat, and I also did the armrest, which was pretty dirty as well, which makes sense. A lot of people would knock on me for getting the ivory interior, and listen, guys, I get it. If you're gonna daily drive this car, ivory interior is not a smart choice. Like, I barely drive this car and it still got that dirty. Whereas if I got something like red or black, you probably won't even notice that stuff. So if you guys want ivory, personally, I think it's the best looking interior, but it needs the most love. But also keep in mind, this isn't my only car. I have the X5 over there, which me and my family mainly drive, and I also now have the Supra, and before I also had the F30. So for me, having ivory in the M3 really isn't that bad, but if it's gonna be your only car, probably don't get it. Anyways, next thing I'm gonna do is actually condition the leather, and if you guys don't know why you do that, it's because you're basically like moisturizing the leather. So that way it's less likely to crack, because you guys can see the leather does get some like stress marks over here and pretty much anywhere that there's a lot of like tension or rubbing. So if we condition it, we keep it nice and supple, it'll be less likely to crack over time. Now in terms of which leather cleaner and conditioner I always use Chemical, guys. Now I'm not sponsored by them by any means. If anybody has any good recommendations of what they use or anything that's maybe a little more bang for the buck in terms of value, let me know. All right, a few moments later, the leather is finally all done. It's cleaned, it's conditioned. We are protected, by the way, before anybody gets triggered. All that stuff on the carbon roof, the roof is PPF'd, so don't worry. But anyways, guys, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Unfortunately, I wanted to get a little more done. I was hoping for a few more wins today, but the fact that we at least got the emblems back on both sides, again, they don't look great, but we'll do a better job at that later when we take this wrap off. And then we also got the canards back on, which makes the front end look so much better, so much more aggressive. It's a nice little subtle thing. They are on there pretty well. Hopefully, I mean, we'll see, because I probably should have put 3M tape over here too, if I'm being honest with you guys. We'll see how much these really hold up. Like right now, they don't look like they're coming off, but we might have to do a better job at that later too. Unfortunately, we couldn't really save the wrap. It's just way too far gone. Maybe I'll consider taking the front bumper to a shop and getting that redone, because at this point in my skill level when it comes to wrapping, although I've watched a few YouTube videos, I don't feel confident enough to wrap a G80 M3 front bumper. Also, I don't have any more material, so I need a shop to get me some more Inositech wrap, because you can't just order it yourself. But anyways, guys, with that said, we're probably gonna wrap up this video here. Hopefully in the next video, we'll be working on the Supra. I'll tell you guys that good news. I'm really hoping we can get that car like dialed in, because what I'm really looking forward to, now that the car show season is over, I'm really hoping we can get both of these cars in a really good spot. So that way next car show season, like next Impact and all that, we can take both cars, the Supra and the M3, when they're both fully modified, wrapped in crazy colors, take them side by side so you guys can see them in person. I think that would be really cool. But in the meantime, we have a lot to do to get there. But anyways, guys, with that said, this video is pretty much done, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.